Hi there, welcome back to another Crypto Dave video. It's Friday, which means another crypto interest rates and news update. Today is the 8th of October 2021. And as always, we start with interest rates, new coins and interest rate changes. I should just say that I have got a bit of a cold, so apologies if I sound a bit kind of groggy at the moment, but hopefully it won't interfere with the audio too much. But we start as always with any new coins and interest rate changes. And the big news is the addition of Solano to the Nexo platform. Now, we'll be covering this in a little bit more detail in a minute, but now available to earn interest between 4 and 8%, depending on whether you choose to get paid in Solana, in Nexo, and also what sort of like level of user you are on the Nexo platform. 8% is for the platinum users that also get paid out in Nexo tokens. In addition to that, I've updated the Swissborg kind of rates as usual. Now, the big change here is Binance. You can see the Binance rate has increased dramatically over the last week. Now, we saw some days where it was up at sort of 24-30%, 25-30% on a daily kind of basis, and that's pushed the 30-day average. So if you are interested in depositing, have a look at the current kind of daily kind of rates as well as the 30-day average on their website. But now brings it in line roughly with what you can get on Nexo and the Celsius, and moves it far beyond what you can get on crypto.com. So nice to see a little bit of positive news for Swissborg. Apart from that, Ethereum has increased a little bit. Unfortunately, Bitcoin and Ripple have decreased a little bit, and everything else sort of floating pretty much where they were before. And then if you scroll right on the spreadsheet, I mentioned this before, we have the yield app rates, but I've also added now the hodl naught rates onto the platform. Because I have actually applied for an account, so I've signed up for an account. I'll be depositing some crypto. I think out of all the additional platforms that I haven't used, this is probably the most interesting to me. As you can see here, they currently have Bitcoin, wrapped Bitcoin, which none of the other platforms have, Ethereum, and then some stable coins. So they've got Tether, USDC, and DAI. So it'd be interesting to see how that kind of performs over the coming weeks and months. I will do a full review video on hodl naught once I've move some money over to the platform. I can take a thorough look at the platform. I should say that if you are interested in signing up, it's quite a convoluted sign up kind of process. They require quite a lot of KYC, and you can't actually then get into the account until that's actually processed. So I'm just in that process at the moment, waiting for approval. And then moving on to the token prices. So first of all, we should say it's been a fantastic beginning to October for Bitcoin. Bitcoin up almost 24% as I record this. It did touch 56,000 earlier. It's just pulled back a little bit from that, but currently trading just over 54,000, so 54,400 almost. And the good news is that a lot of the tokens now have sort of like gone up in a similar amount. So you can see yield app here, the best performing over the last 7 days, up 29%. Nexo and crypto.com both up 21%. Celsius not quite so good, up 13.3%, and Swissborg bringing up the rear, less than 6%. So that's basically less than a quarter of the increase that we've seen from Bitcoin. So not a great week for Swissborg, even though it is up in dollar terms. Excuse me. And then moving on to some stories, we're starting with Solano. So as we just mentioned, Solano is now available on the Nexo platform, and that's available for their all the functions of their platform. So you can earn interest, but you can also buy and sell within the platform. You can exchange it on Nexo Exchange, and you can borrow against it. So this is their kind of like crypto-backed loans, which they term instant crypto credit lines, and they've been pushing these really heavily. I think the first 6 days of this month, I received an email every day, always framed slightly differently, but pushing the crypto credit lines, not specifically for Solana, just in general. So they're really kind of pushing this quite heavily. I think whenever a company pushes something that heavily, it always makes me a little bit kind of nervous. But you can read more about it here. Nice to see another coin on the platform, although it must be said that I think often with staking coins like Solana and Cardano, often you're better off actually just staking within your own wallet than actually depositing on a platform like this. But obviously, if you did want to take a crypto-backed loan, now the price of Solana has gone up so much, you could have quite a lot of equity. And if you want to borrow against that, Nexo is a decent option, the first of these platforms to offer Solana on it. And then moving on to a few more stories. So we got Yield App. So this is really good news. So Yield App have opened twice in the past, and we've covered it on both occasions, a Bitcoin fund. Now it's not a fund that you can withdraw, you can deposit or withdraw every day, but they've opened up sort of like trial funds twice in the past. The second one, I managed to actually deposit a small amount to see how it worked, but they are locked up for a certain period of time. Now they are reopening the fund. This opens up. You can actually deposit Bitcoin now, but you can't deposit within the interest earning thing. So you can transfer it into your wallet on the Yield App, and then from 7 a.m. so that's 7 in the morning UTC on Sunday, you'll be able to actively invest. So then you have to actually move it onto the interest bearing wallet within the app. Now this is open to all users. Now it opened up to, I think, previous depositors a day earlier, but that now is available to everybody. So you can deposit now, and then from Sunday the 10th you will be able to start earning interest, or you'll be able to lock it up in order to start earning interest. And you will be earning, if you haven't deposited before, from Friday the 15th. So it's open all next week. Now what I should say is that if you have Bitcoin that you've locked up before, and you want to get it out, you have to unlock it next week between the 10th and the 15th of October. Otherwise it will be reinvested for the next round, and the next round is 90 days, so that will push us into next year. Now depending on what you think is going to happen with the bull run, what I wouldn't want is people to put a Bitcoin into that for a 3-month kind of lockup, and then maybe in December, middle of December, we hit some really kind of like high highs. People are looking to kind of like maybe kind of sell some of that off, and if you do that, you won't be eligible for any of the interest if you take it out early. So I believe you can request that they unlock it early, but there's no guarantees they will. So make sure if you do put some in that it will be you're aware that it will be locked up till the 15th of January, and I believe it goes up to 1,500 Bitcoin. I think this round will be. So that's really, yes, a total fund cap of 1,500. The previous have been 500 at a time, so this will move it up to, I presume, a total fund cap, including the last two amounts, of 1,500. So that'll be at least another 500. If people have removed it from the previous ones, it'll be a little bit more. But quite interesting to see this has been opened up. I think this is really good. I would have liked to see it maybe with a monthly kind of lockup rather than a 3-monthly lockup. So that's a little bit disappointing. But make sure that if you are going to deposit onto the platform, that you are aware that it is a 3-month lockup. And another story for Yield, I couldn't find this on the web, but I got an email from them a couple of days ago to say that the Yield token will be available on Bittrex very soon. So oh, actually that is now live, so it's October the 7th, so that was yesterday, so I got this a couple of days ago. So you will be able to trade, if you want, Yield tokens on the Bittrex platform. That's quite a large platform, so good to see that being launched. And now moving on to Nexo, again it was an email that kind of came through a couple of days ago, but I really want to make people aware of this. Now, we mentioned this in a video a couple of weeks ago, but Nexo basically entrusted this company called Armanino. So they are an auditors, and they conducted a real-time audit. Now, this is the same company that did the audits for Leaden in January and in July, but the Nexo one was slightly different. It was a real-time one. Now, I think this is probably it created quite a lot of kind of questions to the Nexo kind of team. So they are doing an AMA, that's an Ask Me Anything, and this will be on October the 12th, so that's next is that next Tuesday, I think. And they will basically people from Armanino will be on that AMA, and then you can ask anything about that real-time audit, ask any questions. I'm going to try and jump onto that. I might be asking a question or two if they're selected, but you can jump on that if you want to find out a little bit more about how this real-time audit works. And I'm quite interested because I was a little bit skeptical as to how it would kind of work in real time when, you know, you're a company juggling a lot of kind of like different kind of like credit lines and you know, loans and repayments and stuff like that, how in real time this could be done. So if you're interested in that, you can jump on the Ask Me Anything, and that will be on October the 12th. And then moving on to some Celsius stories. So first, a good news story here. So Public Mint have partnered with Celsius as a CeFi provider for Earn. So Public Mint is not a company or a platform that I'm I know a huge amount about, but I know that Celsius have in the past partnered with various other kind of wallet providers and stuff like that to provide a sort of like crypto interest account for them. So this is something they're doing with a public mint. So they've now signed up. So they've done a partnership where you'll be able to access some of the Celsius Earn features through this public mint platform, and they have an app, I believe, a Mac, not Mac OS, an iOS and Android app which are going live soon. So that'd be an interesting solution. If anybody's used a public mint, can tell me a little bit more about it, do let me know in the comments below. But nice to see Celsius continuing to add partnerships with additional kind of like loan and wallet providers. But in a slightly worse news for Celsius, I saw this article a couple of days ago that Tether have loaned $1 billion, so not an inconsequential amount of money, a very large amount of money to Celsius network. So the stablecoin issuer has loaned billions of dollars to crypto companies, according to a Bloomberg investigation. Now, we haven't heard anything really from Celsius particularly about that. Apparently, the company pays an interest rate of 5 to 6% to Tether, and this sort of like comes as Tether is coming under a bit more increased scrutiny, I think, probably in the last kind of few weeks. So be interesting to see kind of how this plays out. I'm not quite sure why they were borrowing such a large amount of money. Probably not for the growth of the platform. A lot of people think that maybe potentially Celsius might be running at a loss, and they're using this to kind of like cover some of the kind of interest payments and stuff like that. But there's no real kind of like information about exactly why. But quite interesting that they've loaned such a large amount of money to the Celsius network. Now, it should be said that the parent company of kind of Tether, I think, were lead investors in the latest Celsius fundraising round. So there has been a bit of a tie-up before, but I think, you know, anything to do with Tether is coming under a little bit of increased scrutiny. So be interesting to see if there is some kind of like response to this from Celsius. And then another story from Celsius, another bit of disappointing news, particularly if you're in Kentucky. So Kentucky have filed an emergency cease and desist order against Celsius. Basically, this is for their interest accounts. So this goes into place, I believe, immediately. If you are a Celsius user from Kentucky, you should have received an email from them. But if it's gone into your spam filter or something like that, but bear in mind, you will not be able to earn interest on any of your crypto that's been deposited until this is straightened out, if it can be straightened out. So basically, the regulator have argued that Celsius investment contracts are securities, but they're not registered as securities. And this is maybe slightly ironic, because what started with BlockFi, and I remember an AMA 2 or 3 months ago, where Alex was quite dismissive and almost kind of like laughing a little bit about BlockFi's New Jersey Security and Exchange Commission investigation, where that's been pushed back a little bit. And then on the back of that, the same thing has happened to kind of Celsius, not just in New Jersey, but in Texas, and then this Kentucky one, which goes live immediately. So this is an immediate kind of ban, not the same as the other ones. I think the irony also is that Celsius used to be a UK listed company, and it moved fairly recently in the last 2 or 3 months, didn't it, to the US, because they were citing because of regulation. Now, the US regulators haven't gone after any external companies, any non-US based companies, as far as I'm aware, so they could probably have avoided this, certainly in the short term, if they were still a UK kind of company. Now, no doubt once all these kind of like cases have been kind of argued out in court and stuff like that, then if the US doesn't like interest accounts, crypto interest accounts, for whatever kind of reason, and it does deem them securities, no doubt then they will go after the foreign kind of companies in terms of not allowing US users to use those kind of like companies. And I know some of these kind of companies already don't allow various sort of options for US residents. So yeah, interesting to see how these sort of like play out, and also how they pile up. So what was, you know, a single kind of investigation a good few months ago on one company is now multiple companies and multiple jurisdictions. So it'll be interesting to see if many other states actually kind of like go along these kind of lines and actually kind of like start an outright kind of like immediate ban, rather than just sort of like going through some kind of like negotiations and stuff like that. So interesting to see how this pans out, but not a great week for Celsius. I don't know if that's one of the reasons that they're token price has not done, sorry here, 13.3 has not done as well as some of the others. But yeah, it's not been a great week for Celsius from that kind of point of view. I bet they're regretting their decision now, moving from the UK to the US. But that's it for this week. Thanks very much for watching as always. If you can give me a thumbs up, that would be fantastic. Hope you're all keeping safe and well. Hopefully I'll see you on the next video. But until then, have a great day. Bye bye.